Everyone in? Do we wait for participants? Hi, everyone. Welcome you all, depending on the time zones you all are joining us from. So I'm Trishna Patnaik, who will be taking you through a short, crisp lecture on art therapy and autism today. Let's start by me giving you a brief introduction about myself. Uh, I'm Trishna Patnaik, a BSc in Life Sciences and MBA in Marketing. And an artist by choice. I have been practicing art for over 14 years now. I'm Mumbai based, which is in India. And I did have a professional stint in various reputed corporates. After that, I wanted to do something which I'm passionate about, something which was more meaningful for me. So I found my true calling in my passion, that is painting. I'm a full-time professional painter. And as I always say, it's a road less traveled, but a journey that I look forward to every day. I do conduct painting workshops pan India, that is across all metropolitan cities of India. I have done various things online as well for people across the globe. In terms of the healing aspects of art, I'm an art therapist, I'm a special educator in autism, I'm a healer, I'm a talk counselor, and also a wellness and mental health propagator in terms of writing. So I work with various mental health institutions, either volunteer basis, on one-time basis, on project basis, depends. Totally depends. Also one-on-one with clients who are based out of Mumbai. Like I said, that I do write. I dabble into that field in terms of working with engagement. And when we speak about engagement, it's more about thinking, wondering, and absorbing. It's not just pure data which is churned out. So I think with this sort of a background, which is more like an umbrella, let's move into what is art therapy and what is autism. Let's take it parallel. Let's club it up together. And then we'll end the session with me telling you about which one vertical, because art therapy is like learning a language, is what I look at. Okay. So let's begin with what happens in terms of why art therapy and autism. That will be the first obvious question. So people on the autism spectrum, art is a perfect medium to encourage individuals to express themselves. Since children and adults with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, are visual thinkers, art becomes a natural way to communicate how they feel and more so how they view the world. Yeah. So those with ASD, that is autism spectrum disorder, can share their understanding of the environment rhetorically, be it through drawing, painting, sculpting clay, or other hands-on avenues. So we're talking a lot of hand usage here. Uh, that doesn't necessarily have to be only with fingers, so we'll get to that. This allows the individuals a chance to process the world in an accommodating, sensory, and more so unrestricted way. You do not want to restrict the person who is trying to express themselves through art. Art therapy allows people with autism to use their visually minded brains to communicate through artistic media. Now, what can be done? They can record images and visual data, express ideas, process memories that they are unable to do so verbally. Now, it is assumed that someone, because is nonverbal or has limited verbal abilities, they're not intelligent. Now, that is untrue and completely unfair. So, because of this stigma, such individuals need to be exposed to art and other avenues for expressions, but because of the stigma, unfortunately, they're sometimes not. So that is why we are discussing this subject. Now, art therapy allows people with autism the chance to build communication skills in another way, in a comfortable setting, where they can find happiness and, in their definition, success, which is subjective. Now, art is definitely emotional. Like I told you, even in my bio, when we went through, it's like an umbrella. You're going through paces. It's not a left-brained job. It's a very right-brained thing. So when you're creating it or whether you're viewing it, it's always emotional. Now, art therapy allows children with ASD to recognize, control their emotions in a structured situation. Many individuals have a lack of impulse control who are in the autism spectrum, so they can be easily overstimulated. Art therapy helps participants to identify such trigger situations and how to develop coping mechanisms. So that's why it's very, very helpful. Now, let's go deeper into it. What is the role of an art therapist? How can they help individuals with autism spectrum? Then number one is you have a situation where you're bonding. So you're bonding with art therapist, you're bonding with your peers, you're bonding with your family members. It allows that. Number two, it allows people to develop an innate artistic talent. Probably you are talented, you're gifted, it just gives you an avenue. Number three, it improves your motor skills. Number four, you recognize, respond appropriately to facial expressions. Again, we are talking about people with ASD, so that's important. Then you imagine and you're thinking figuratively. Finally, you're managing most of your sensory issues that you may have. Finally, let's come to how will children, if you're looking at children, how will they go about a session? So you can have a warm-up activity or exercise where you acclimate them to the setting. You can announce that the session is coming to an end so that they know what to expect rather than ending it abruptly, which will cause anxiety. You can limit the number of art supplies. Having too many choices can be very overwhelming and overstimulating. And some materials, which I was telling you, that not necessarily when you're working with art therapy, you have to use your fingers. With children, you have to see there's always a trial and error method required. So when there are individuals with sensory issues, you may not indulge in finger painting as they might not want to touch paint. What you could do is take a long-handed brush, take a blow through a straw, so blow paint through a straw, or even work with color pencils or sketch pens instead. Now, as we're going further, we already know that art therapy, most of us must be aware, are getting aware and will get aware, is that it's a recognized and a valuable approach for individuals with autism, offering a range of therapeutic benefits. By engaging in creative activities under the guidance of a trained art therapist, individuals with autism can explore their emotions, enhance communication skills, develop social connections. Now, understanding the therapeutic benefits of art therapy and why art therapy is effective is what we are going to be looking at now. So let's move into the therapeutic benefits of art. Now, ultimately, if you're doing something when we are in a spectrum, we will not have a standalone solution that, yes, art therapy will resolve that. No, it's a spectrum. But what are the therapeutic benefits of engaging in art and dwelling into art? So art in itself holds immense therapeutic potential. Creating art allows individuals to express themselves non-verbally, which we've spoken of above, tapping into their inner thoughts and emotions. How would you do so? You would do so through the use of colors, shapes, textures. So art becomes a very powerful medium, more so for self-expression and communication for the concerned person, for the concerned adult, for the concerned child with autism. It provides an outlet for emotions that may be difficult to articulate through words alone. So please, this is crucial. Then art therapy harnesses the inherent therapeutic benefits of art and combines them with structured interventions. You'll always have interventions to address specific goals and objectives. By engaging in artistic activities, individuals with autism can experience a sense of accomplishment, build self-esteem, develop a greater understanding of themselves and their experiences, which they have in day-to-day lives or in different stages of their lives, if not every day. Why art therapy is effective in individuals? Let's go deeper into those pointers, which we've been talking about already 2 times. So here are some reasons why it's well suited for individuals with autism spectrum, that is art therapy. Number 1, let's move to non-verbal communication. Many individuals with autism face challenges with verbal communication. Art therapy provides a means for non-verbal expression, allowing individuals to communicate the thought, feelings, experiences through visual art. This form of communication can be both empowering and liberating. Naturally, you're doing anything to make a person, like it was said previously, develop self-esteem. Sensory engagement. Sensory processing difficulties are common in autism. Art therapy provides sensory Art therapy provides sensory rich experiences, engaging various senses such as touch, sight, and movement. By exploring different art materials and techniques, individuals with autism can learn to manage sensory challenges and develop sensory integration skills. Okay, so you have to understand that when you're working with art therapy, you are engaging various senses, which is touch. It's not just visual, you're also having touch and you're also having movement. Yeah. So when you're using various materials and techniques, you are managing your sensory challenges and developing integration skills. Now, flexible and individualized approach. Art therapy can be tailored to meet the unique needs and preferences for each individual with autism. So it's not a generalized subject. Of course, it can be tailor-made. Of course, we have to see at what stage an individual is, what are, like I said, trial error method in simple way. And then our therapists do employ a person-centered approach, considering the interests, abilities, and goals of the individual. This personalized approach fosters engagement and promotes a sense of ownership over the creative process. So what happens when you make it a person-centered approach? The approach becomes bigger, so the ownership becomes bigger than concentrating on what are we going to be doing. So that's what we are trying to communicate. Social interaction opportunities. For individuals with autism who struggle with social skills and relationships, art therapy offers a safe and supportive environment to practice social interaction. Group art therapy sessions do encourage collaboration, communication, connection with others who are sharing similar experiences. So that will always happen when you join a particular center, a school, this thing, you'll always have activities with fellow children, with fellow adults, and art therapy becomes one of the tools which propagates through the journey of understanding autism better and living with autism better. Art therapy for autism is a dynamic and multifaceted approach that harnesses the therapeutic benefits of art to support individuals on the spectrum. By recognizing the unique characteristics of art and its effectiveness in addressing challenges faced by individuals with autism, we can appreciate the art therapy as an intervention. So more than it being a complete standalone cure, it's first to be seen as an intervention. That's what it is. Now, coming back to where we left it, just to sum up what all we've finished before we move towards approaches, a more detailed approach. This was more of a generalized approach, benefits that we spoke of. You always have to work with a qualified and experienced art therapist who's specializing in working with individuals with autism. If you're going in for regular sessions, or more often are you sending someone somewhere? If it's a one-time session, experiential, or something which is just that, you just want to see it for a group, like in your school or in your institute or something, it's okay to call in someone who has a lot of passion and, wants to share some different modes of working. But otherwise, if it has to be regular sessions, which are say once a week or once in 3-4 days, till this becomes one of the tools to act as a treatment plan rather than it being an intervention, we have to consider someone who is regularly dealing with people with autism. Then only once we have tailor-made unique needs, which we spoke about, the person-centered approach, will the person with autism see that there's growth, development, and have a nurturing self-expression. Now let's move on quickly to different approaches to art therapy for autism. What happens is we will be looking at 3 approaches, and there are 3 common approaches. first is the person-centered approach, which we'll be talking again in detail, so that you'll know the continuation of the remaining two. The other one is the cognitive behavioral approach. The last one is the sensory-based approach. Now, person-centered approach in art therapy for autism places individual at the center of the therapeutic process. So if you are someone or you are sending someone who has ASD, that person becomes the center of the therapeutic process. This approach focuses on creating a safe and supportive environment that encourages self-discovery and self-expression. The art therapist acts as a facilitator, providing guidance and support by allowing the individual to explore their thoughts, feelings, and experiences through art. Now, in the person-centered approach, the emphasis is the importance of the therapeutic relationship between the individual and the art therapist. That's why we spoke of it has to be someone who is doing this day in and day out, apart from just being very passionate about it, if it has to be a regular module. Now, through the use of various art materials and techniques, the individuals with autism are encouraged to communicate and express themselves at their own pace. Now, that's very important. The emphasis is on the process of creating art rather than the end result. So like I said, we are always looking at the process, creating what we want to express and communicate rather than already feeling that this has to be the end result. That is why a person is creating something. Now, when we speak about the cognitive behavioral approach in art therapy, it combines the cognitive and behavioral techniques, as the title goes, addressing specific challenges faced by individuals on the autism spectrum. The approach focuses on identifying and modifying the negative thoughts, emotions, behaviors through art making. So it focuses on identifying, modifying negative thoughts, emotions, and behaviors through art making. Art therapists use cognitive behavioral approach, will work with individuals with autism to explore and challenge the negative thought patterns, develop coping strategies, and enhance social skills. So now you see, from being an intervention, art therapy has moved to be therapeutic. Yeah, how it's used as a therapy. Through art activities, individuals are encouraged to identify, express their emotions, understand the connection between thoughts and feelings, and develop alternative ways of thinking and behaving. So when you work with this, you are encouraged to identify and express your emotions, understand the connections between your thoughts and feelings. So what is that loop that's causing the negative thought patterns, and how do you develop coping strategies? Means how do you develop alternative ways of thinking and behaving so that you enhance your social skills and also your way of thinking, finally, which will lead to the final approach, which is sensory-based approach. Sensory-based approach in art therapy for autism recognizes sensory sensitivities and preferences commonly experienced by individuals on the autism spectrum. We already discussed it previously as well. Now, this approach will utilize art materials and techniques that engage the senses, promote self-regulation, relaxation, and exploration. So what are you going to do is, if a person is sensorily gets agitated, overwhelmed, overstimulated, you will use art therapy and its various techniques to promote self-regulation, relaxation, and exploration. So that is precisely what we are considering here. Art therapists use the sensory-based approach, may incorporate various sensory elements into art making processes. So what will be used? Tactile materials, soothing music, calming sense. So you are addressing all the three senses, technically. I mean, all the various senses, apart from taste, so to speak. By focusing on sensory experiences, individuals with autism can engage with the art materials, explore different textures, and regulate their sensory responses. So coming back to it, when we are in the art making process, you will use tactile materials, soothing music, calming sense. We are not getting into anything got to do with taste as of now, because it's visual arts, it's art therapy. The other thing that we are looking at is they are regulating the sensory responses by making use of these different textures, which they involve through art materials in making the creations. Yeah. So each of these approaches offers unique benefits and can be tailored to suit the individual needs of those with autism spectrum. Art therapy provides a creative and non-verbal outlet for self-expression, communication, and personal growth. This is how you can sum it up. Now, we've already spoken of the approaches. We've spoken about how we can use something which is tactile, how we can use something which has different textures, how we can use something which probably we're not using fingers, but we're using a bigger brush where we're using a straw. So let's go deeper into it. What can we use? What can be the common techniques we used for people who are having autism, and how will such individuals work towards developing self-awareness and better communication skills and everything else that we spoke of previously. So number one can be drawing and painting. Drawing and painting are versatile art therapy techniques that allow individuals with autism to express themselves visually. These techniques provide a creative outlet of self-expression, imagination, and emotional exploration. Whether using pencils, markers, or paintbrushes, individuals can create artwork that reflects their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Art therapists often encourage the use of different colors, shapes, textures to help individuals with autism communicate their emotions non-verbally. So drawing and painting, it's a versatile technique. To recap this again, why are you working on it? Because you are getting a creative outlet for self-expression, imagination, and emotional exploration. What are you using? Pencils, markers, paintbrushes, everything that you can think of that reflects the person who is in this journey with ASD, so that they can explore their thoughts, feelings, and experiences, and they know how to communicate their emotions non-verbally. Now, sculpting and clay work. Sculpting and clay work offer a tactile, we spoke about the tactile approach, and sensory rich experience for individuals with autism. These techniques involve molding, shaping clay, or other sculpting materials to create three-dimensional artworks. Sculpting provides a hands-on approach that engages sensory exploration, fine motor skills, and spatial awareness. So let's repeat this again. It's a tactile and sensory-rich experience. It works with molding and shaping of clay. Why are you doing that? To sculpt out three-dimensional artworks. Because it's an hands approach, you're working on a couple of things. One is your sensory exploration. Number two is fine motor skills. Third is spatial awareness. The process of molding clay can be both calming and therapeutic for individuals with autism, allowing them to express themselves in a tangible and tactile manner. Then we have something which is very interesting, which is collage and mixed media. Collage and mixed media techniques involves combining different materials such as paper, fabric, photographs, found objects to create an artwork. These techniques allow individuals with autism to explore their creativity and create visual narratives using various elements. Collage and mixed media art therapy techniques offer opportunities for self-expression, problem solving, and sensory exploration. So collage and mixed media art therapy will give you opportunities where you can express freely because you have so much happening, you have so many things with you. It gives you an idea that with so many things also how you can solve a problem. So when you're saying problem solving means, you know, you're finally creating mixed media, creating something sensible out of something which has so many elements. And that's why it's a sensory exploration. By selecting and arranging materials, individuals can communicate their thoughts and feelings in a unique and personalized way. Like I already mentioned previously, to reiterate a very common point, that art therapy may not be a standalone cure for autism, but it can be a valuable and enriching part of a comprehensive support system for those on the spectrum. It's all about the therapeutic power of creativity, and it's the ability to make a positive impact on the lives of individuals with autism. Art therapy is a unique form of treatment for autism, as it helps mitigate symptoms while also channeling autistic behaviors into an expressive creative outlet. Like we already spoke about, fill it up, it promotes communication, emotional growth, sensory integration, while all of it is fostering in social interaction and more so in a fun setting. So with this, I would like to take you through one aspect which I usually work with, which is called a splash art workshop. It is, like I said, art therapy is like learning a language. It is a very small part which are specially curated as an art therapy session. What happens in this is that participants are introduced to basic color theory, color wheel, various painting media, and watercolor techniques. Then in the splash art workshop, watercolors are used to create a design which emerge from the subconscious minds of the participants. Participants will learn how the colors flow through the brush onto the paper to create personal expressions. The facilitator, which in this case will be me, will assist them in understanding how they reflect their inner world. Like we already spoke about, it's not about the end result, it's about the creative process. So splash art becomes one of a kind session in which every creation will be neither right nor wrong, but it's just you. So what do we usually work with when we go ahead with these sessions? We work with watercolors on cartridge sheets. So I think with this, I have taken you all through a systematic approach towards understanding art therapy and autism better. If any of you have any questions, I'm willing to answer them. Okay, looks like we don't have any questions for now. So with this, we would like to thank all of you for your time. And it was very engaging in the sense for me to share what I wanted to share on FB Live for Autism Connect. And from different parts of the world, goodbye again, because it's very difficult to call out on one particular time zone.